Hello everyone and welcome to my very first voiceover video. I wanted to do this for a very long time now and I'm a bit nervous but also very excited to finally get to it. If you follow me on Instagram or have watched some of my more recent videos or just read the title of this video, you may know that I have magical girl OCs. I really like magical girls ever since I watched Tokyo Mew Mew when I was like 12. It was my favorite show at the time and actually the first anime that I've watched with subtitles rather than a German dub, and I specifically remember the last few episodes only having English subtitles and I had a really hard time understanding what the characters were saying, but I watched it anyway because I just loved it so much. Despite my investment in the show, I surprisingly never created magical girl OCs. I wanted to do so for a while but just never felt inspired for a specific story or character, so I didn't get into it. That is of course until I started working on these specific characters back in April 2020, so pretty much exactly a year ago now. After a video titled "Is Your Daughter a Magical Girl?" showed up in my recommended, I somehow thought, wouldn't it be funny to have a world in which magical girls are pretty common and people know about them, but the main character just happens to be a boy and everyone just gets really confused about it. I texted two of my friends about it to pitch the idea to them and they really liked it. And they encouraged me to do it, so I did. And I brainstormed a bit, designed my 5 main characters, which are Hikaru, Lucidi, Natalie, Tala and Kali, and then just let it be for a while. In the past few weeks, however, I've actually done quite a bit of world building and that's what I want to talk about today. We can get into the individual characters some other time if you are interested in that. Tell me, I will make a video about it. But for now, let's just get into the basic mechanics of this world, where magical girls get their magic from and all the good stuff. So first things first, this world is pretty much like ours, with the main difference being that souls have the ability to materialize into some kind of gems and shatter after death. This generally happens when a person dies but has some kind of negative emotion build-up, such as sadness, anger, or regret. The soul is essentially not able to move on and shatters under the pressure of that negative emotion, which causes it to remain in the mortal world. These soul fragments have no actual consciousness, they are purely driven by that one negative emotion. This often causes them to be violent as well. Souls are made of magic, and while most living creatures can't, the soul shards can utilize that. They often seek out host bodies, which can be anything really from objects to animals and humans, but more often than not their host bodies are somewhat similar to how they used to be when alive. These hosts are taken over by the soul fragments, so they are not in control and not conscious. As I said, the soul fragments can utilize magic, which allows them to shapeshift and fight and become very dangerous if they are violent. They are everything from monsters to demons and vengeful spirits that people talked about from the beginning of time. As an entirety, I am calling these monsters that are created by these soul shards and a host body nulls, but that name is subject to change. And then there was Yua, a girl with greater magic potential than most people, which allowed her to take in bits and pieces of magic from the outside. This ability made her able to somewhat communicate with the nulls, and she took it upon herself to try and get the fragments back together. You see, the soul fragments themselves aren't very conscious, but they can gain consciousness when brought back together. And this way Yua was able to find out what caused them to be trapped in the mortal world and shatter in the first place, and occasionally help them move on. She, however, was never able to help more aggressive nulls, as she couldn't safely approach them. A null's initial strength is determined by how strong that negative emotion is, and how big the soul shard is. But they do get stronger the longer they are around, and being able to change hosts, they can essentially exist forever, meaning that if they are aggressive and have been around for a while, Yua had no chance to return them into shards and collect them to bring them back together and help them eventually. And there's more. Yua was able to take in magic, but she had no possibility to release it. She had no transformation or fancy magical weapons or anything like that, like modern magical girls. And the thing is, the human body is only able to carry so much magic. So Yua got sick, something that I call magic poisoning. and she eventually shattered under the pressure of magic when she was 15. Her shadowing was very different from a null's, however. While other souls shatter after death, for Huion the very reason for her death was the shadowing. This also meant that other than every other shattered soul so far, she was actually conscious while she shattered. This made her soul fragments very different from others, mainly because they were conscious. They chose girls around Huion's age, so 13 to 17, and they became the very first magical girls. So the job of magical girls is essentially to collect the soul shards that cause nulls, bring them together so they can gain consciousness and help them move on, because that's what Huion wanted. Whole souls are always white, as they contain all colors of light, and nulls are always black, as they are devoid of all colors. And when a magical girl shatters, the colors among the soul shards are split kind of randomly, but they will determine the next magical girl's main color. The magical girls that hold fragments of the same soul become a team, and the one who is the closest in color to their previous soul holder is considered to have the most magic, and thus becomes the official leader of the group. As an example in the background of the Speedpaint, here you can see Majida, a magical girl who had shattered. Her main color was a reddish pink. And Hikaru, who's somewhere in the foreground, has magenta as his main color, making him the closest to Majida and him the destined or official leader of the group. Tala, however, is green, which is the complementary color of Majida's pink. This means that she got a smaller soul fragment, which makes her magic weaker. Because of that, she also has to use things in the physical world to fight, while her teammates can use their magic more freely. She's, however, the chosen leader of the team because she is most suited for the role. And just like other soul shards can gain consciousness when brought back together, when magical girls of one group come together, they can essentially summon their previous soul holder, in this case Majida, who usually takes on a mentor role. This previous soul holder's interest also decides the theme the magical girl group has. So in the case of my main group, Majida was interested in fortune telling, so the team has a fortune telling theme. Over the centuries, magical girl's soul fragments also changed and became stronger because more and more different souls come together. Nowadays, they are not only able to take in magic from the surroundings, but also produce it themselves, making them significantly stronger. Magic poisoning is also a lot rarer, since magical girls have options to release magic now, and there are also magical girls that specifically do healing magic. They can, however, still shatter after death. They essentially shatter for the same reason as when it comes to magic poisoning. Their soul holds too much magic at once. This also means that the stronger the girl is magic-wise, the more likely it is that she will shatter. However, it's not exactly the same as magic poisoning, as they do not get sick and the shattering occurs after death, like a quote-unquote normal shattering. In this case, the already conscious fragments in her soul will keep her shards conscious as well, preventing her from becoming a null. But while rarer, magic poisoning is still a thing. To separate the soul shards and the host when it comes to more aggressive nulls, it is easiest to fight them and force them out. As I said, they are not really conscious, so talking won't help much until all shards are brought back together. I was thinking that the nulls my main team helps out could enhance and mirror the individual character arcs. I thought that might be a fun idea to play around with, but I gotta think about that a bit more since I haven't developed the character arcs as much yet, so I have to go more in depth with that first. This world has a pretty soft magic system as well. I usually prefer harder magic systems with set rules and limitations, but I am not sure if I will use such for this specific story. For some reason, I think it works pretty well with a softer magic system, but who knows, maybe I'll change it later. So yeah, this is all I got so far. I hope it all kind of made sense. I know it was kind of a lot at once. Since this is my first video of this kind, I would really appreciate some feedback and constructive criticism from you guys. Tell me what you liked and disliked, what I can do better, and if you even enjoyed me rambling about the world building I've been doing. If you want to see more videos like this, I would really appreciate some input on what you would like to hear me talk about in the future. So please leave all of your feedback and suggestions in the comments below. And this is everything from my side. I want to thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next time. Bye!